This is your captain speaking.
Let's get ready for takeoff.
Hi, I'm your Captain Carla.
And I'm your Captain Mary.
And welcome back to Red-Eye Flights. This is our Valentine edition.
Yay!
Yay, Valentines. So, in honor of Valentines, we were going to read.
Well, we asked some of you guys to write in and share with us some of your dates, bad dates, good dates. There was a lot more bad dates than good dates, which is hilarious. But I'm sorry if we didn't share your story, but we will have more of these, so please continue to share with us. But yeah, let's get into it.
Let's just jump right in. So this one is titled, Am I an Escort?
Oh, I love that you titled them.
I know.
That's hilarious.
So on mine, when I was doing my Instagram poll, I asked everybody to title theirs, and I guess our Captain Mary did not. So we will title hers afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, this one's titled, Am I an Escort? It seemed like, excuse me, it seemed like every weekend the same guy would come to my place of work and just hang out. He would walk with me and do some of my work duties with me. Over time, I would look forward to his visit. Finally, he asked me to go to dinner with him. Dinner turned out really fun since we had so many hangouts at my work before. Talking with him was a breeze. He invited me over to his place after. He was a gentleman and nothing progressed. We watched some TV. As I'm ready to tell him that we had a pretty nice first date, he proceeds to tell me money's on the counter. Don't forget to grab it on your way out. Does he think I'm a hooker? Did he just pay me $100 to hang out with him? I sure did grab that money and left. Needless to say, we never went on a date again, and I avoided him when he came to my work. I still don't know why he paid me. Writing in from first class.
Oh, that is hilarious. I wonder what that person, what they thought.
I don't know. Are we supposed to be getting paid on going on dates? Because I have not been paid.
That is hilarious. I don't know how I would have reacted.
I don't even know what I think. Well, it's sad because it seemed like our passenger was ready to have a second date, but he was ready to
move on
from
I wonder if they continued.
Oh my gosh, we need to hear more. We need an update.
Yeah, I wonder if they continued. If he called her.
I wondered. It's red.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Dang it. Mic check.
Okay, I'm ready to share mine. This one's a cutesy one. Okay.
I want to hear a cutesy one.
Let's title it The Line.
Oh, I like that. The line.
Okay.
Like the conga line.
So I was 18 working at Taco Bell. One evening I was working the line, which is what we called the area where we prepared the food. My manager asked if I could take the next few cars through the drive-thru as he had to take care of something. Upon switching to the drive-thru, I managed a few cars, and then a car pulled up with a woman who was absolutely stunning. I had actually seen her previously at church, but of course I could never hit on her at church. That's sacrilegious. Is that right?
Sounds right.
I thought, now's my chance. Luckily, she was already being extremely talkative with me, and her sister was in the car with her, which helped mitigate any awkwardness. After some small talk, I worked up the courage. Mind you, this is all in the drive-thru, okay? I wonder how the people were behind.
This is why I'm waiting forever for my food.
Exactly. I worked up the courage to ask her for her number so that I could take her on a date. She said no. I was rejected, but I handled it well. I told her I'd see her around at church, and she left the drive-thru amicably. Amicably. God, Leah, that one always is a tongue twister. Okay, so after she left, I returned to my post, the line, and began preparing food again. A few minutes later, my manager yelled through the headset, "She's back, she's back." So I ran through the drive-thru window just as she was driving off again. She had come back, drove around the building, parked in the front. I met her outside of our church, and I met her outside by the door. She got out of the car, met me. She handed me a napkin that said the name, the girl from church, and it had her number on it. We went on our first date later that week. We've been together 16 years, married for 10. We have 2 daughters together, and yes, he still has that napkin to this day.
Oh, I love this.
But it's a boy story. I love it.
I love that. I tried so hard, passengers, to get a boy story, and that is a sweet story.
That's such a good story, yeah.
See, shoot your shot. You never know.
He was 18, and he knew what he wanted,
You go, boy.
I love that story. I was like, oh, thank you for sharing.
Oh, so God. Well, right now, kids, when I see this story, I cackled I had to read it to Chris, and Chris then cackled. This one was a good one. And you know what? It was from somebody I least expected. Okay, so this one's titled, Mi casa is not su casa. Okay, are you ready? A guy from work invited me on a date. I was 18 and he was about 10 years older than me. I reluctantly said yes. He came to pick me up. He was completely rancheroed out. So rancheroed out means like Mexican cowboy. So like I'm assuming like the hat,
those big boots,
the big boots, the belt buckle, the whole thing.
the Ariat jacket.
Oh, I need it all. Which was kind of shocking because that is not how he dressed at work. When he got to my place, he asked for a tour of my house. I was living with my best friend at the time. He asked to go to my room to see what my room looked like. And naive me took him to my room. He then asked for a cup of water. So I went downstairs to get him a cup of water. In the matter of seconds that I went downstairs, he was able to completely undress and get on my bed. And to my surprise, he was butt naked on my bed with a cowboy hat over his penis and his cowboy boots still on. I ran away from him. I didn't say a single word to him. Me and my best friend went outside and hid behind some bushes until he decided to leave my house. We never spoke again. To this day, I have no clue what signals I gave to this man to feel comfortable enough to get butt-ass naked on my bed. I hope I never ever give those signals off because let me tell you, that was unwarranted. Writing in from seat 10A, fully clothed.
That is hilarious. I wonder, like, was it for the vibe? Or maybe it was like he doesn't feel comfortable with his feet because there's some people that like have to have socks on, you know?
Oh my God.
Or maybe he didn't have socks.
I feel like our daddy was like, I'm gonna wear my hat and my boots.
He's gonna set the vibe.
And this is gonna be what she wants. Like, I just want to know, like, he came over, and I'm assuming, like, let's say that they had, like, a dinner set. Like, we're going to go to dinner. And then that was, like, the appetizer?
Oh. Oh, wait, they hadn't even gone to dinner yet?
No, he was coming to pick her up.
Oh, my goodness.
Game changer, right?
Thank you for running away. You know, it would have been hilarious if she would have been like, and then we were married 15 years later.
I enjoyed that peep show. Okay, like, let's just do a spin. Like, so she comes with her glass of water, sees him, doesn't say a word, turns around and goes outside. And I need to know how long it took him before he left.
I know.
Oh, shoot, she's not coming back. I almost said her name. He's like, you.
Do I just stay here? I wonder how long. She didn't tell you how long.
She didn't, but I feel like, again, we need a little update on that because that one was hilarious. Oh, and I read that. I died, passengers. I died.
Okay, this is a crappy experience on a date. So this is from one of our passengers, and I don't really have the title for this one. I guess baby mama. So, okay. So she says, I met this guy through my old job at an event we had at Topgolf. I actually worked with his mom and met him for the first time there because we worked at different locations. We hit it off and his mom was actually all for it. So we ended up going on a date and it was awesome. We had great chemistry, had a lot of similar interests. We hung out a few more times after that. And then there was this event that all my friends were going to and encouraged me to invite him. So I did. They encouraged me to invite him. So I did. But he told me that he has some sort of stomach bug that day. So I ended up going with my friends still. We were walking around and I spotted him getting a drink at a booth. He was paying and I saw him walk off and I told my friend and she was like, you have to go and make it known that you saw him. I was livid because I felt like a fool in front of my friends. So as I approached him, he was giving a drink to a girl. I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, hey, so I take it you're feeling better. He turned around and froze and was like, oh yeah, felt better and just decided to show up. The other girl was looking at me like who was I? And he made it seem like they were just friends. She seemed pretty upset and just laughed and sarcastically told him to have a good time. I just laughed and sarcastically told him to have a good time. He texted me after saying he was so sorry he didn't tell me that he was feeling better and that apparently he was going to, but I beat him to it when I saw him and his friend. So I didn't, and he said he saw that friend there and he didn't want to leave her alone and yada yada. Excuses, excuses. I stopped talking to him after that. Mind you, I'm still friends with his mom. We're still super close, so I know all of his cheesemen till this day. He ended up getting that so-called friend pregnant like 4 months after that happened. They are no longer together, and now he has all this baby mama drama with her. He actually just messaged me a couple of months ago wanting to hang out of nowhere. Mind you, this was like 4 years ago. I left him on red. I spoke with his mom and ended up telling her that he reached out to me, and she was like, why? He has a girlfriend. Moral of the story is this guy is still lame to this day, and I dodged a bullet.
Oh, she sure did dodge a bullet. And
Yeah.
that's an ugly way to find out. But at least you didn't waste any more time.
Right.
Like, he was
And she
trashing-
sent me a picture of him. I wish I could share it, but that's him. And that's totally her vibe.
I feel like
And that's the little baby boy.
I love the picture.
I wish I could share it, but yeah, we can.
Oh, guys, Chris is calling. Okay, I had a thought on that. One time I was after work. We had all went out after the restaurant, after Olive Garden. Everybody went to go get drinks, and a new server that was there, she was like, "Oh my gosh, the guy that I'm dating is here, and he said that he was sick at home." And she went up to approach him, and he told her, "No, I'm the twin brother." So we were like, "Oh, thank God, poor thing. He does not have a twin brother." Like,
That's bad.
how are you gonna like pull
That's
that
bad.
like off the rest of your life? Like, I don't get it. But she had been dating him for maybe like 3 months too,
Oh, wow.
and no mention of a twin brother. So that was really funny. I thought that was a similar story.
That's hilarious.
She dodged a bullet, and he's not attractive.
That is like so her vibe.
I feel like I've dated somebody that looks like
I
that.
feel like you have.
We all have.
I have
Mary.
not. I have not.
Okay, this one is titled Liquid Assault or Beer Bombed. It was 2014.
Ooh, okay.
Set the year. I know this because it was just a bit after the first time I moved back to El Paso. A mutual friend set us up to meet. I had said I enjoyed dancing and wanting to go somewhere to dance. We met up with my friend to meet this guy, and we three had drinks, etc. Our mutual friend left us to continue the night just as two. We continued to talk and dance a bit. All was going well, so I thought. I excused myself to the restroom. When I came out, I noticed some commotion. I just witnessed my date get a drink thrown at him. I didn't even think twice. I walked away right out to the parking lot and got in my car to immediately call my friend. Come to find out, he had recently ended a relationship and the ex was still attached. And it ended before it began, as I decided to never provide my number to this guy nor go out again with him. Luckily, I've never ran into him once since. Passengers, always drive yourself and be prepared to exit at the drop of a hat. Riding in from the runway.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. I love that this passenger was like, I am not messing around. You just got a drink thrown at you. Date's over. I'm going home. I've got some knitting to do.
I actually have another story, but it's on my phone.
Oh man.
They wrote it in on our smooth landing, and it was. But I don't want to. You're gonna have to finish your stories.
Oh, okay. Okay. You want to read one of mine?
Sure.
Oh God, you want this big long one?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna give you. We have a long one. I'm gonna give you. Here we go. There we go.
All right.
Yes. Let's see what
This
we
one
got.
is called "Is This Because of the Heels?" So after I ended my 3-year relationship, I waited almost a year to go on my first date of a guy who I used to go to school with, but we would never really talk during high school. He was a couple of years older. He seemed relatively normal. We got along really well over messages and texts and even phone calls. We probably talked for at least 3 weeks before I agreed to go on a date with him. So the date started out okay. We actually met up with some of his friends, guys and girls, to have drinks and food at a little bar and grill downtown. Then everybody talked about going back to the house and hanging out. I thought everybody was going back. So I went with him. We get to the house and he shows me around. This is probably 15 minutes later, and I'm asking where everybody else is. He keeps telling me they're on their way. Keep in mind, we were all coming from the same place. Then he tells me that he stays there sometimes, and he actually has a room that is there. We toured the house. He stopped in front of the room. I poked my head in and quickly went back down the stairs. So I go sit on the couch to wait for the friend. This is now 25 minutes later. No clue where everybody is, and he's saying that they are stopping to buy drinks and snacks. I didn't want to panic, but I had a weird feeling. Are your feet tired? I can massage them for you. Heels can be exhausting, right?
Oh man, my mic's dead.
Oh,
I'm all
just
over
talk
the
louder.
place.
Weird feeling again, and I didn't know who to text the late at night. Some of my girlfriends were out celebrating one of their birthdays late and had already been drinking. I text my brother, who were at work again, trying not to alarm them or me, just seeing where I could get a ride because stupidly I had let them pick me up. And this was 3 years ago. I wasn't an Uber using gal. So he comes and he sits on the couch and keeps trying to make a move on me. I finally tell him that I have to check in on my babysitter. I walk out the front door and I call my ex-boyfriend who was on a date. LOL. I told him that I needed him to pick me up from a disaster date and that I didn't feel safe if he didn't come. I would start to walk in the middle of the night. It was probably like 9 at night. He says he's on his way, no clue what he told the date. So I started walking a little bit so I could tell him what the address was. The guy comes out of the house asking me where I'm going and starts following me down the street, telling me that we had such a great connection and that he knew it from the moment he saw me. Then he said, I must be tired walking in heels. Asked me what size I was because he would be willing to trade me shoes so my feet wouldn't hurt. And then he said, and they match my outfit. I didn't know if I heard him right. And he said, it's not weird. I just do it once in a while. I took my shoes off so I could walk faster and power walked towards a convenience store. Just as he caught up to me, my ex pulled up into the parking lot. The guy looked so shocked when I jumped in the car and shouted, is this because of the heels? Call me later. A couple of months later, a girl reached out to me because she heard he and I went on a date. I told her that I got very weird vibes off of him and I did not feel safe and he was a bit odd. But that would be her choice. To just be careful. She did go on the date and they were together for 5 years. LOL. I always wonder to this day if she let him try on her heels and that's why they lasted so long. Writing in from CH23, H is for heels. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious.
I think I love him for being like open and honest. Like, I'm here and I want to try on your heels.
I know, right? Like,
I mean, you're here, I'm here. Let's put on some heels.
let's do it.
I think that one was a good one.
Has anything weird like that happened with you? I've never dated a guy. I've never dated a guy with a foot fetish. I don't know if that's a foot fetish.
I don't know if that's a foot fetish, but you know what? I'm going to be honest, passengers. I have cute feet. I've been told too many times to not believe it. And so I feel like I do get a lot of people who are like, can I touch your feet? And I'm like, I hate feet. Do not touch my feet.
I'm not a feet girl.
But it happens more often than not, you know? So I don't know. That, to me, that's I don't know. I feel like at that point I would have been like, I'm going to need to see who walks better in these heels. Put them on. You know? I'm going to need to see what's going on here. And then I want to know if he was like a big, tall man, like, because man, RuPaul, they work heels. I don't walk in heels like they do.
I don't either.
I wonder if he can like work it.
Yeah. Okay, your story.
Okay. Okay, this one is titled Dinner with the Fuzz. I got in a car accident in high school. The cop gave me a few tickets. One was for driving without a license. Madam. He threatened to arrest me and even told my mom I should have been arrested for stealing her car. Fast forward a few years, I met a guy summer after graduation, and we really hit it off. He invites me over for dinner to meet his dad, and I immediately realized his dad was the cop from the accident. His dad proceeds to even tell the story about my accident, but I'm not sure if he recognized me. Can you imagine?
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, his daddy was the daddy that got you.
You know what I've been thinking? Like, people wrote in these type of stories. I'm like, do I have any weird stories? I don't really have like.
I have so many, but I think it's because I think the weird are attracted to me. Like the weirdos, they just want to come and be weird and yeah.
That's interesting.
Like what was no. Oh, okay. What was no? Because I'm trying. Because this is how I got one of these stories out from one of my friends. I was like, think of your very first date in high school. I remember my very first date in high school. My sister took us, and it was to a movie, I want to say. And then when she picked us up, she was staring. Like I remember her little eyes in the rearview mirror, and she was like Are you guys gonna guess? I was like, oh my god, this is awkward. I'm like, well, okay.
You know what? When I was even in high school, like they were always very, I don't know, they were always so sweet. I never had any really weird
Well, God
dates.
bless you. I wish I
No.
had more sweet ones. I think
I mean,
Chris is the only sweet one.
I've already shared that story on, I think, the REDEYE, where the guy couldn't pay for the.
Oh yes, now that fool. Not
And
that
he-
we expect anything.
No,
but at
I
the
don't
same
expect
token,
it. But he was just like, oh, but can I go over to your place? I'm like, no. Like what? Like even if he would have paid. Like I'm not. I wanted to get to know him. You know. It's
yeah.
funny. But yeah, I never really had any like creepy dates. I did see this though. There was this actor who was talking. He's a predominant actor, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't remember. But he's in that movie with Sydney Sweeney, and he's like the white guy, and they go to a wedding. Have you seen that one?
No.
Gosh, I forgot the name of it.
Darn it.
But anyways, let me pull it up so we can, because people are gonna wonder like.
I'm wondering. I've had so many. I remember one time I went, this is a quick one while you're looking it up. I went to a first date with this guy, and we went to Sonic, and he was military, so I guess wherever he came from, he didn't have a Sonic. So there was a Sonic. We went to Sonic. He took a huge bite of his chili dog, and he smiled after, and he had so much chili beans all over his mouth, and I was like, this is done. and I told him like, hey, you have stuff in your mouth. He's like, who cares? I was like, okay.
That's hilarious.
That was another random first date. What's somebody?
Anyone but you? This guy. What is his name? You know who he is?
Oh no, it's a sexy picture.
It's a good movie.
I've never.
Glenn Powell.
Oh, he's handsome.
Okay, so his sister. He was just talking about it, which is funny. His sister's friend, not his sister, but his sister's friend went on a date with this guy that she met on a dating app, and they go back to his place after, right? And the guy kept insisting like, hey, do you want a massage? Do you want a massage? And the girl was like, she was already getting weird vibes from him. Like she went to his place and she already got like weird vibes, but she still said yes. Okay, so she finally says yes to the massage. And so whatever, he ends up massaging her, and then she still gets like this weird feeling, and so she's like, well, I gotta go now. So she like force leaves, right? Well, a few days later, she gets this really bad rash on her, like a really bad rash. She goes to the doctor. It turns out that it was like an off market, like it helps your skin break down. He was a cannibal, or what is that?
A cannibal.
Yes, and so then she went to the police, and the police were like, can you give us the address of this guy? So they go to, and they find women's bodies in the apartment.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I don't know what happened to her skin. I mean, hopefully she's okay, but yeah, it was like something that breaks down your skin so he could eat it. I'm sorry, that might be weird for this, but when I saw that, I'm like, if women's intuition is intense, if you feel something is off, it's probably off.
It's probably off. You dodged a bullet. You dodged getting eaten. You were at supper that evening.
All right. Okay.
Give it to us.
Okay. This one is mechanical difficulties. Okay, this is a short one. Not sure if it counts as a date, but it definitely ended bad. I met a guy at a bar one night, and we headed back to his place. He drove. Needless to say, nothing physical progressed due to some incredibly strange mechanical difficulties. Nobody was in a position to drive, so I was stuck there all night. Of course, this was before Uber. He took me home in the morning, and on the drive, he called his mom on speaker, introduced me, and we had a whole awkward conversation. I asked him to drop me off down the street from my house, and we never spoke again. Writing in from seat C, you never.
Seat C, you never.
Oh, C. Oh, okay.
Seat C,
you never. You're so creative with all that stuff. That is hilarious.
What is with all these men who want their random dates to meet mom?
I mean, it's kind of cute.
It is cute, but at the same point, it's
I have a story about a mom.
Okay.
Okay. This isn't my story, but this is a story a friend shared with me. So she goes on a date. The date is at Chili's, okay? And the
Yum.
date is really good, but the whole time the date is watching football, right? It's like during football season. And so she's like not used to not getting attention, but she's like, okay, like I'll be a football girly, right? So she's there watching the football with them. And mind you, they're at Chili's, okay? So whoever hates on Chili's, the first dates at Chili's seem successful. Anyways, so they go to Chili's, they have a great, and then the game ends. So then he's engaging in conversation. And then they go to the movies after. And in the movie, the whole time he's on his phone because that's like around the time that like fantasy football was like.
Oh my
so they were like,
gosh.
the date was like watching their phone the whole time. And in the movie, and so she's like, is this it? Like, is this what we're supposed to? Whatever. So, anyways, she goes back to his place. Mind you, he lives with his mom. Okay. So he tells her, can you spend the night? And she's like, not on the first date. Well, she ends up spending the night on the first dates, right?
Okay, girl.
So she spends the night on the first date. And nothing progressed. Like it was very innocent or whatever. And then she says that in the morning, the mom comes in and she's like, good morning. Mind you, she had never met her. Good morning. Can I make you guys some breakfast? So he's in bed with this girl. And the mom comes in and is like, can I make you guys some breakfast? That relationship ended up lasting, okay?
Oh.
But it was just hilarious how she was like, I remember her telling me that she was just in bed and she was like, sure, like to breakfast. I mean, what do you say? Like, no, I'm gonna leave. I don't know. That's hilarious.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. God bless her. Like, you know what? Hey, we're all getting weird. Let's just have breakfast. You know I'm here. Let's do it. Actually, you know what? I have a funny story, and I just thought about this. This is what. So me and Chris have been friends forever, right? Since we were 15, but we were friends, not normally hanging out with his parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew his parents, but I wasn't like close with them. But when we started dating, we I mean, I hadn't met them yet. We were getting there. Well, one night I stayed the night over at his house, and we had been dating for a while, and I stayed the night at his house. And
With his parents or no?
No, he had his own apartment.
Oh.
Yeah, he had his own apartment. I hear, so it was like maybe like he had left for work. So I was at his, and he even like in the morning, he was like, stay for however long you want, make yourself at home. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was in his bed, dead asleep, and I hear like a knocking on the door. And it was like a knock, and then the door opened. And I was like, oh. And if you like put your head like this, you can see down the hallway, but not if you're like, you have to like that. I look down, it's his dad. Oh my God. I pulled the cover over and I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what do I do? And then my phone was charging on his nightstand like further. And I was like, I don't have my phone. I'm under the covers. And his dad comes to the bedroom and he sees me, like, I mean, not me, but he sees like someone in the bed and he's like, Chris, you're late for work. And he kicked the bed and I was like dying in there. I was like, oh my God.
Did you go like,
I will not reveal myself. No. And then he ends up, I guess his phone rang. It turns out Chris was on the phone and he was trying to stop him from going in. I guess he called him to be like, hey, I'm at your place. I'm going to go in because he was going to fix something in the apartment. I don't know what he was going to do. Like a simple fix. And so he called and then I hear him say like, oh, I thought it was you on the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm sweating, dripping bullets. And then Chris's dad actually left. And then Chris calls me and he's like, hey, my dad's waiting in the car if you want to get out or stay or meet him. Or I don't know what you want to do. And I was like, I wasn't mad at him, but I was like, what the heck? Yeah. You forgot your dad was coming over? So he had his toolbox and I left him a note like, hey, can't wait to actually meet you or something cute like that. And then when we met again, I was like, let's just bite the elephant in the room.
Oh,
like,
you told him?
Yes, I was there. Obviously, you knew. Like, I had met him like a little bit after that. Like, it was already time to meet the parents and like as a relationship. And I was like, and he's like, I still have your note. I was all, I know, Marquette.
I feel sorry for my husband because when I met my husband, I was divorced and I was
divorced.
Yeah, and I didn't even really want to date, and he's like this church-going guy, right? And so when I went on a date with him, the first date, I trauma dumped on him. And I feel so bad about that. I was just like, I started way back then. I was like, you know what? That felt really good. Like I literally trauma dumped on it,
So
and he
wanted
stuck
to
with
write
me.
in and be like the person.
Yeah. I gave him all the reasons to run. Mind you, I had 3 kids. I was divorced. I had daddy issues, I guess, and he stayed. I basically gave him like an owl. Like, hey, bro, are you sure you want to do this? And he stayed.
He sure did. He said, you know what? I want a piece of that crazy.
He helped heal me for sure. Because I feel like I still would be trauma dumping right now, but I feel so much better.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was all our stories.
That was fun.
That was so much fun. I love when you guys interact with us. Like, hearing all your guys' stories was really fun. It was nice for Valentine's.
Yeah, so please, when we ask for, I guess, what is it called? Where we ask for
questions,
yeah. If you could guys interact with us, it really helps us, and we love hearing all your stories.
It was so much fun. These stories were cute. Yeah. You guys are cute. And this was our second Red Eye.
Yeah, so thanks for following us, and please like and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for catching a flight with us today, passengers.
Like and subscribe below.